Say, come get it, got it, girl. Well, you don't you don't speak street, girl? What's up? Hello, class. My name is Justin Taylor. You are here at Firestorm Free Running and Acrobatics Gymnasium. It is a glorious, beautiful, sunny and warm tutorial Tuesday. I am stoked to be here with you, and today we are going to be working on the safety vault. Now, the safety vault is also known as a step-up vault. It has a few other names depending on where you go. It is super awesome because not only is it a great way to get up and over an object, up onto or down from an object, but unlike almost all vaults, it has one very specific thing that is unique to it, which is it can be paused and stopped and then reversed in the middle of the vault itself. So if you are using the safety to get up and over something and all of a sudden you discover on the other side there's a big giant drop, something is unsafe, you can freeze, stop, and reverse yourself, unlike what you would be doing for a Kong vault or a speed vault or a thief vault or a dash. There's really no stopping and rewinding that move once you've started. With this one you actually can, which is why it is very safe. Safety vault. Let's go get started. I'm excited, I'm amped. Let's do this thing. All right, class, we are gonna start with the safety vault. First thing we're gonna do is get lazy. I want you to lay down. You are now a pretty bikini model down at the beach. All right, we are posting up on an arm, hanging out, having a great time. And this is the starting position for our safety vault for our very first drill. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna be putting all of our weight, as you can tell, on one arm. This is called our posting arm. So I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna grab and post my weight on this arm. As we get up, I will start locking out the arm for a nice kinematic stack of the bones, but for right now, we're gonna start with a bent arm. What I'm also gonna do is post on my outside leg. This is my inside leg. We usually refer to it as our middle leg as we're gonna be doing this skill. This is my outside leg. It is pointed at a 45-degree angle. It's not gonna be torqued all the way to be forward, but I also don't want it turned out, opening up the hip all the way. We're gonna be at a nice 45. My leg is also sticking out diagonally from me. I'm not pulling it really close in, and I'm not sticking it all the way out straight, mostly up and down right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to push up on this hand and foot. Now, if you'll notice, I'm almost making a triangle. If this leg were straight, I'd kind of be making a triangle here through my body, but I do wanna keep this leg bent so I can push off of it. Now here, I've got my leg hanging out in the middle. What we're gonna practice here is sticking our leg behind us and extending our leg in front of us. Behind us, in front of us. This is pretty much everything for your safety vault right here. Okay, this is the most important drill you can do. When you do this, you want to be careful of a couple of things. Number one, when I bring that foot through, if it is not tightly tucked, I'm going to kick myself, especially if I come with force, in the back of the ankle, and I'm going to fall flat on my back. And it's going to be funny for all of my friends and unfortunate for me because it will not feel good on my Achilles. Number two, people get really stuck doing this on only one side. Make sure you practice on both sides of your body. Remember, we are ambidextrous creatures. We want to be able to do things on both sides of our body, not just one. All right, now that we've practiced this drill a bit, we're gonna take it over and show you how to safety up and safety down off of a small object. Let's get started. All right, now that we've practiced our safety drill on the ground, we're going to use it to get ourselves on top of a small object. I always recommend when you're starting, start something with waist height or below. Do not start with something higher because then you're gonna have to jump and kind of change your body position and add in a few other skills to get there. So we're gonna start with something a little shorter like this. So with our safety vault, I'm gonna pick my posting arm. I usually like to use my right arm, so today I'm gonna switch it up and use my left arm. I'm gonna place my hand down. I'm going to lift my foot up on the object. Now, if my foot is really close, like shoulder width, which seems like the most normal way to do this, it's going to be very difficult for me to be able to do this. There's also really no room here to get my other leg through. It's really hard. I'm either going to hit my knee, my foot, something. So I want to make sure my foot is out at about a 45-degree angle. Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pushing with my leg so the weight comes over my shoulder and down my arm. This is why we want to kinematically stack these bones so the bones take the weight here. When this happens, it opens up a lot more area here for me to be able to turn my hips and pull this middle leg through. From here, I set my foot down. I can transfer my weight back over. I can stand up, and now I have done my safety up. Real quick when you do this, if an object is very tall and you can't quite get, just lift your foot and put it on top, not so high that you have to actually climb up the wall, but something, let's say that's another foot higher than this, so I'm just gonna pretend I'm a little shorter. When I come down here, what I can do is place 2 flat hands on top of this object. Pull my toes up into what's called a half cat position. We're gonna do a whole tutorial on this at another time. And from this position here, now that I'm up on top of the object, I can lift a foot, move that middle arm, bring that foot up, and stand up and mount the object. When you're doing your safety up, we've talked about this many times, you're gonna hear me say a bajillion times until you hate it. And that is, when you do this, we are not gonna use our knees. Whenever we do a safety up or any type of climbing, we will always plant the foot. We've got perfectly good feet to use. There is no reason to slowly destroy your cartilage, which is very difficult to grow back, by placing a knee down and then trying to climb up. This is really bad for your shins, really bad for your knees. It turns you into an old man or old woman much more quickly than you need to. So remember, lift that knee up, plant the foot. Now you can actually use your leg muscles to push you up. This is vastly superior. No knees. Good. All right, we've done our safety up. We're on top of the object. Now it's time to do our safety down. This is pretty much the exact same thing. We're just gonna extend our foot towards the ground instead of pulling it up. This one is generally a little easier. There's more space for your leg to go through. But remember, when you are landing on one leg at a time with your body weight. So you don't want to do this from a big drop and land on only one foot. You wanna come down smoothly. This is for a object that is not too much more than waist height. So I'm gonna lean over, place my weight on one hand. For me, I like to, on these objects, put my fingers over the edge. So as we've talked about before, I can grip it and rip it and throw that object behind me. I'm not trying to come up for speed right now, so you're not gonna worry about me throwing it behind me. I'm gonna put my foot off to the side. Remember, I don't want it close. Now it's hard to pull this leg through the middle. Out at a 45-degree angle. I'm gonna lock out my bones and my arm in a nice straight line so I can hold the weight easier. I'm gonna extend the foot down towards the ground, bending now my arm and my foot to set this leg down right here. At this point, I'm going to push off with this arm and this foot, pulling my chest back into a straight line, and now I can walk out of it. So when we do this, I can use it to very quickly come down from an object. Sometimes we want to get down from the object. We're doing our safety down that we just learned, but an object is much taller than our waist height and I cannot extend one foot to the ground. If I were to drop off and land on one foot, I could hurt an ankle, a knee, my hip, something like that. So we're gonna make a small change for what's called our safety dismount. In a safety dismount, we start the exact same way. I pick one hand. I like to do my fingers over the edge. You don't have to, but it is good to keep your fingers face forward. Don't turn that arm backwards. You will release all your shoulder muscles. All right, I'm gonna extend my leg off to the side. We can actually keep our foot and hand a little closer than we normally would, because what we're gonna be doing here is trying to land mostly straight up and down. I'm not so much sideways anymore as I am mostly straight up and down. I'm going to slowly lean forward, extending this leg towards the ground, pushing off with my hand and outside foot. And the main difference here is I'm gonna bring my feet together before I hit the ground so I can absorb with both feet. If you have not yet watched our very first episode, the precision tutorial, it's gonna show you proper landing position and how to absorb on the balls of your feet using our legs as shock absorbers. That is our goal here. I'm gonna go here, I push, chest up, there we go, I've absorbed, and now I can walk on out. That we've done our safety up and safety down and our safety drop absorb, we're going to start working closer to the actual safety vault. Vaulting into the safety. Before we can do that, we're gonna have to learn how to get over an object forwards and backwards with our safety vault. You can do this not on a rail. A rail is a little more tricky in the beginning, but it is very good because it is not very wide lengthwise like this, and we want something very skinny to start with for our safety vault to get used to it. We do not want a very wide or deep object. So we're gonna start with this rail. Again, pick something roughly waist height or a little lower. Don't pick something higher than your waist height when you're first learning this. Now, real quick, let's start with our hand or grip position. When I grab this, I can grab forward, backwards, no thumb, and no thumb forwards. I recommend for something like this, you can do either thumb or no thumb, but thumb is a great way to hold yourself and give yourself a little extra balance. You do want your fingers facing forward in an over grip position, not a reversed grip position for our vaulting right here for our safety over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a hand. Last time I was using my left hand, so let's use our right hand. Place my right hand forward. Again, I'm gonna lift the leg. Remember, we're out at a nice diagonal, and what I'm gonna do here is as I start to lean forward, I'm gonna lock out all my bones, push with this leg to lift my hips. I'm going to tuck my leg through, extend it to the ground, and stand myself up. This is a great way. Now I've put my safety up and safety down together. Now, to make it more interesting and to really see if you've got the balance and coordination for this, the best thing you can do is a backward safety. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna reach back and grab that hand, extend my foot to the side while keeping my eyeballs on you guys, okay? From here, I'm going to lift the hips by extending my leg, pull my middle leg through, extend it backwards, and set myself back down. One of the main drills we do when people are learning this here at Firestorm is we start with one hand. We go over, switch hands, backwards. Same hand, forwards, whack the knee, switch foot, backwards. This is a really good drill you can do again and again to get all four things, forward and backwards, left and right, putting the whole thing together. Remember to keep your hands forward. Reverse grips like this are not very good for two reasons. Number one, if I start to lose my weight and fall forward, whoop, this can catch on my fingers, torquing my shoulder, my wrist, or breaking the knuckles of my fingers backwards. That is not so much fun, you know? So, forward hands, safe hands, strong hands. You may remember at the very beginning of this when we talked about the cool thing about the safety vault is you can stop it in the middle if you need to protect yourself. So a rail especially is a great way to practice this in the beginning. I can come up here. I'm again gonna get ready for my safety vault. I start to come up, whoa, 10-foot drop to spikes. Where did those come from? Nobody knows. I'll stop, pull my knee back, and put myself back out to safety. This is a really good thing to practice because this safety vault is designed to be safe. It is the beginning trick you'll use while you are climbing around an area, finding out what's going on with your terrain, kind of figuring out where you're gonna train and what you're gonna be doing. So use this one in the beginning as you move around, just in case there's something nasty hiding on the other side. Better safe than sorry. The reason we started with the rail for our safety overs is because it's a very skinny object, it's not very deep, and that makes it easier in the beginning. Now, let's say we get up onto an object that I want to get over in my safety position, but it's quite wide. If I do my safety up with my hand and foot close to the beginning of this object and try to get over and extend right here, as you can see, I've already hit my thigh. Even if I try to push really hard, I may clip my butt or my tailbone on it like we talked about in our simple vault. We don't want that to happen. So when you get up here in your safety position, plant your middle leg, move your outside hand and foot to the new edge that you're going to be doing your safety down, and then extend yourself into your safety down. You can use this to slowly move yourself across a wider object without having to completely stand up, move a foot, do it again. We're just gonna get into our squat position and reset our hand and foot for our safety out. And this is how we get over something that's a little bit deeper than just a rail. All right, guys. We've put all these drills together, we've worked really hard, and we've practiced this basic skill a bunch, right? Good. Now we're gonna put it together for our safety vault. The difference between just the safety up, safety overs, things like that is we're walking over and setting our hand and foot on the object, transferring ourselves from the ground where I have a foot to a foot or a hand on the actual object I'm gonna be vaulting, or going up and over. In this case, for vaulting, what I'm gonna do is my entire body is gonna be flying through the air and then landing and pushing through my safety position. So for this, what's gonna happen is I'm going to be running towards the object. I recommend when you are practicing your safety vault, in the beginning where you're actually coming with some power, do not practice it on a rail. You have to get your exact accuracy down first, and if you miss that rail even by a little bit and land on your fingertips or your palm, you can really injure yourself. So you wanna start on a block, a piece of concrete. Better yet, if you have access to a gymnasium where you can use a spring floor and a spotting block, the hard foam blocks, that's gonna be the best because you are gonna mess this up, fall on your face and hit your butt a little bit. So we wanna take it nice and easy in the beginning. So as I run into my safety vault, if I'm gonna be posting with my right arm and putting my left foot down, what's gonna happen is I'm going to jump in the air with this arm and this foot. I'm not swinging a straight leg unless I want to kick this object and break my toes. I'm swinging my knee up to get me more height in my jump, which is very important to get on top of the object, and also to get my leg ready for my landing position, which will be like this. Now, if I run and jump to this and I leave my middle leg trailing behind me as I run in, what's gonna happen right here? I'm gonna swing this through and bash my knee, clip my toe, something there, and I'm gonna smack my ankle. I'm gonna have a really unhappy time, not just because I whacked it, but I whacked it with a lot of momentum and force. So what we're gonna do to offset that is as soon as I swing and jump in the air with my right arm and my left leg, as soon as I push off the ground with my right foot, my middle foot, I'm gonna pull that up almost like I am in a cannonball. The difference will be that I'm gonna be extended a little bit sideways, just a teeny bit, getting ready to land on my hand and my foot. Now you can imagine, if you land really intensely on this arm where all of your upper body weight is, especially with your bones stacked, it is going to hurt your wrist. It can also hurt your elbow and shoulder, but especially your wrist. Your leg is 4 times stronger than your arm on average. It is also a lot longer. So when we are flying through the air, we are going to extend our foot, our outside posting foot first. It will connect with the object we are vaulting over. From there, we're going to extend the arm out. Now remember, when your arm hits the object, we do not want to land on that object. It will hurt. We are just passing over the object. So we're going to reach forward with the hand. Our hand will touch the ground or the object that we are on, and we're going to grab it and we're going to throw it behind us. We are never going to stall and stop in a straight position. We're only going to be reaching, gripping the object, and ripping the object and throwing it behind us. We'll do the same thing with our leg. Leg hits and absorbs first, followed by arm, and they both throw behind us to accelerate myself out of the object that I am vaulting over. Now let's talk about that middle leg. As I land here, by the time my foot and hand are already here, this middle leg should already be kicking and extending. So as I'm in the air, I'm in my tuck position. As my hand and foot come out, I'm already going to be extending this leg. So as my hand and foot hit the object and push it behind me, I can extend out and transfer my weight onto that leg and go out into a run. Remember, when you do this, because your leg is longer and stronger, you will have to push much harder off of your arm in order to not only keep yourself going forward, but to push your chest from this diagonal angle back up to straight so you can run out of it, so you land in a nice solid position. One of the biggest mistakes with the safety vault is that people leave their hand behind because it feels more comfortable. When you leave your arm behind and I come out, what happens? My body twists. Now I'm facing you. I'm no longer keeping that linear action. All my momentum has started in turning. I'm all over the place. If I'm going for speed, I just lost it. So let's put the entire thing together and see how it looks. Woo! All right, class, we just finished up the variations of our safety or step-up vault. We learned how to get up and down an object, how to drop absorb to an object that is much taller than just waist height. We learned how to get forward and backward while stalling and reversing our direction. And then at the end, we learned how to put it all together for our much larger safety vault. Next week, we are going to be going over our floor Kong and our Kong up, another type of vault that leads into our Kong vaults later on that will allow us to get up onto objects just like we did today. The really cool thing about this safety vault that we just learned is that it is the transitionary trick into both our thief and speed vaults. We'll be using those two vaults later on. They are much more advanced and a lot cooler and faster, in my personal opinion, a little bit flashier. So we'll be putting it all together. Next week, remember, we're going to be practicing for our Kongs. That's pretty much it, beautiful people. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Please reach out, let me know your thoughts. Always looking to get better, answer questions, and give out more information. I love your beautiful faces, and I will see you next Tutorial Tuesday for the floor Kong and the Kong up. Good day.